Welcome to the Laughter Clinic podcast with comedian and suicidologist Mark McConville, bringing you practical, evidence-based self-care strategies, the latest research in mental health, along with conversations that inspire, educate, and entertain. This is the Laughter Clinic podcast with your host, Mark McConville.
Bev Killick, welcome to the Laughter Clinic podcast, and thank you very much for inviting me to your beautiful home in lovely St Kilda in Melbourne. How exciting!
Well, this is the only room that hasn't have junk piles.
Right,
so.
yeah, because you're a bit of a hoarder, I would say. But there's nothing wrong with that. I love a bit of hoarding myself.
At least it's interesting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And you make a bit of money out of it on the side.
Do.
Why not? It's all good. So, everyone that I have on the Laughter Clinic podcast, I ask it the same question to kick off. So it's centred around the saying, laughter is the best medicine, which is a saying that's been around for over 3,000 years.
Really?
Biblical times.
Right.
And now we have modern day research that proves the physical benefits of laughter and the psychological benefits of using your sense of humour as a coping mechanism.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
what are the chemicals again?
Dopamine and serotonin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you hear the term laughter is the best medicine, what does that conjure up for you?
That is exactly right. That's absolutely correct. You feel better afterwards. I mean, to have a belly laugh or to have a laugh, to even the act of smiling makes you feel good. I read about that many years ago, that if you want to cheer yourself up, you just actually force a smile on your face, and just using those muscles and doing that actually makes you feel better. Yeah. I mean, look how smiley you are, Mark.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be seeing you. I haven't seen you. I think the last time we worked together was on a cruise, I reckon it would have been.
Yeah, that would have been a while ago. You know? But you're just such a familiar face to me.
Well, and
we've hung out a lot.
Yeah, and the other thing is making people laugh. How much that
best
it gives us.
It's the best.
Yeah.
And I've just been doing it all my life in a natural way, just being a clown, being silly, doing impersonations, being the class clown, the family clown.
Right.
I was always like, Beverly, do your little thingy, do this, do that. You know?
on that, I'm just curious. How long have you actually? Do you know how long you've actually been doing stand-up for now?
About 29 years.
Yeah.
But I'll just say 25 because I don't want. If people don't think I'm much chop, I don't want them to go, oh. 29 years. You should have been better.
Yeah. So was this was being a comic something that was always something that you thought that's what I want to do? No. Interestingly. No, I wanted to be an actor. You and me both.
Yeah.
That's how I started out.
And so, I all I wanted to do is go to performing arts college, which I did.
Yeah.
And I studied clown, and I studied Buffon, and I studied circus skills, things like that. But it was never stand-up. It was like, I think I was the last to realise. And then my friends went, so I think I was probably 30, 31, 32 when I started stand-up. Okay. For my very first gig.
Yeah.
So you can now figure out my age. It's bastards.
It's great. I think it's great coming to stand-up at that age. Like I was 28 when I started. Yeah. Because you're bringing some life experience you're bringing a voice. To the stage. Yeah,
you've got things up your sleeve. You've done a bit of life work. You travelled. Yeah. You don't want to party every night.
Yeah.
Although I did.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? I wasn't in those 20s where I was just really real party animal in my 20s, like crazy.
Well, yeah, and when you start out in comedy, when I started out in comedy, it was a similar sort of thing. Is you're submerging yourself in the industry and going out every night and going, and you kind of you you're just a sponge for everything artistic and creative and performing, and part of that is going out and after gigs and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it is. Socialising is a massive part of it, and just going to watch is really important. And just getting on that community and that scene. And when I first started, it was really there. The community was really solid.
So did you start in Melbourne? Because I know you came from Townsville.
I came from Townsville. I left Townsville in my 20s, and I worked in a theatre restaurant there, and I worked in a few other theatres as a dancer. And
no stand-up up there though?
No, right. no. But I did some really sort of crazy, sort of avant-garde stuff. So I basically did everything I could in Townsville, and then just sort of started replicating it here, with more scope and more ways to study, more ways to perform. Yeah. So
as we go through our careers, there's turning points, significant events. I reckon that happened. So can you recall like a turning point for you early on in your comedy career? Yeah. That kind of reaffirmed this is the right decision to make. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
I always wanted to play the Comedy Store. It was really big to me. So I had that as a goal. And so I used to...
Is this the Comedy Store here?
In Sydney.
In Sydney, yeah, right.
So I used to bus it up there, a Greyhound bus, and lob on couches. I was a single mum. I was broke. One of my best childhood friends would look after Abel for me, and I'd go up to Sydney for a week.
Was there not a comedy, like, didn't they have the Star and Garter?
Yeah, there was a comedy club in the Star and Garter and all that here.
Down in Melbourne.
But I just wanted to break in to the Sydney scene for some reason. Right. It was really important to me. Okay. Because, to be honest, it was a little bit bitchy in Melbourne when I first started. There was just a little bit of a...
that click,
nudging you out. There was a click.
Yeah.
Brisbane and Sydney didn't have it so much. Yeah. Melbourne, I don't think has it now, but I've either risen above it, or I don't notice it, or it doesn't affect me. Yeah. But so I really wanted to go to Sydney. So I used to bus up there, stay on friends' couches, and then I put my name down at the Comedy Store. And I can remember the first time I walked in there, it was just like some kind of miracle had happened for me that I'd got there, because it was on TV at one point, the Comedy Store. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was on...
Was that the late 80s?
Yeah, the late 80s. Yeah, and that's sort of what I knew of stand-up, really. Yeah. And Theatre Sports was also on telly. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So I've lobbed up there. I've put my name down for a 5-minute spot. I've got up on this... It's not a very big stage, the Comedy Store back then, Clarendon Street, the Clarendon Hotel.
Oh, I never knew it. I've only ever known it.
Yeah, this was on Parramatta Road.
Okay.
It was like the most incredible place. And so if you did overtime, there was Lenny Bruce's massive picture at the back of the room. And if you went overtime, his eyes would light up.
No way.
Like this. And if you really went overtime, would go, me, like this, right? But anyway, Jane Sweetapple, who used to live upstairs, she was the curator, she was the booker, she ran the place, right? And she was tough as nails. And you didn't get a Guernsey unless she gave it to you.
Signed off on it.
Yeah. Anyway, after that 5-minute spot, and I didn't go over, because I'd learned from Dave Grant, of course, she came down from her little position up there in the bio box, came backstage, and she said, I want you to come back in a month, and I want you to have more material, and I want you to MC. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
I think I had 10 minutes. That's all I had. And so I went, okay, went back to Melbourne, worked it up. I think I worked it up to a half an hour. I mean, it wasn't all gold, but I worked it up. And then she said, and you can stay upstairs. There was another room up there. And I didn't even fly. I still bussed it. And then I can remember getting there, and there's my name up on there's this massive wall, and there's my name up in chalk.
Yeah, comedians, but we do get our names up. You know, certain comics you get to a point where they get it up in lights, but we've had it up in chalk many times.
Yeah, the Comedy
That's where
Store,
you start. You've got to get it up in chalk.
It was always up in chalk, but it was really big, you know, so the traffic could see it. And there I am, MC, Bev Killick, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, which is the big nights. I was like,
and you're getting
mind blown.
That's a paid gig.
A paid gig.
Wow.
And I got to come, and I became mates with Janie after that, and she used to have me up there headlining, doing all. So I headlined for the first time in Sydney before Melbourne.
Right.
So I was a headliner in Sydney. Okay. Still doing 10, 15-minute spots in Melbourne.
Really?
And doing 35, 45. But the Comedy Store for headline was only 25 minutes.
Okay.
And Sydney was a bit different. And then some places in Melbourne were 30, some were 25. You know, headlining is totally different now. We have to have 45 minutes usually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Comedy Store. And then I came back to Melbourne and everyone was just like, how did you do that? How did you do that? And it's like, hey, hard yards. You've got to want it.
Yeah.
That's what it takes.
Yeah.
It's not all
well, the modern,
rosy.
Yeah,
you know?
the young comics these days are probably doing the same thing when they trip around doing festivals. They're
absolutely
staying on people's couches for a month.
That's it. And if you want it bad enough, that's what you'll do.
Yeah, because it's you know, you're not going to make any money if you're trying to pay for accommodation and all that sort of stuff.
We got paid beer, and you were $20 if you're lucky.
Yeah, right.
For a spot, you know, or 50.
Yeah.
I mean.
So this would have been the 90s.
Yeah,
late
it was
90s,
like 98, I reckon.
Okay.
Yeah, I hadn't met Tony yet. Tony being my husband, the lighting guy at the ESPY.
Yeah, the ESPY. See, now there's a gig that I wish I had got to do because it had wound up by the time I started.
Oh, really?
And started coming to Melbourne, yeah. And, you know, the famous Esplanade Hotel, for those that don't know, in Melbourne down here.
Unbelievable. A lot of very well-known, now celebrity comedians and actors and otherwise cut their teeth there.
Yeah.
And it was curated as well by Trevor Hoare. And it was and it was so incredibly popular. And I was, you know, a really big part of it. That's where I met my now husband. Because I used to go down there to watch music, never thinking I was going to be a comedian there.
Yeah.
So it was in the Gershwin room and it was packed. And it got to the point where they had to have 2 sessions on a Sunday. So it was new comics on a Sunday, and then on the Tuesday was pro. Really? So when you got to the Tuesday night level, it was like, yes. Right. And you'd be begging for a Tuesday night spot. And Trevor would go, no, not yet. I'm not going to put you up until you're ready.
Isn't that amazing how we had a similar thing happen in Brisbane? With the fact that there was only 2 places to do
Dockside.
gigs. Dockside and Comedy Central.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember Comedy Central.
And it's like you had to really be good and have your shit together at Comedy Central.
But how many great comedians have come out of there?
Oh, yeah. A lot came through at the same time I did.
Yeah.
But now, there's like, if you're starting stand-up in this now, you know, like we'll talk about starting out in the industry later on, but if it's totally different starting now to starting.
I would say
so. So many gigs.
I don't know what's happening now, but the Comedy Republic in the CBD is amazing.
Right.
It's purpose built.
Okay.
Reece Nicholson and his husband, they put it together.
Yeah.
Built it. I think they spent their wedding money, and then it is amazing.
Yeah, right.
And it's got the proper green room, and it's got the bar area downstairs for, you know, sort of different and that kind of style, you know.
Yeah.
Stand up, and then it's got a theatre, a theaterette.
Yeah. Wow.
And I did a show there recently, and it was glorious.
Yeah.
The feeling, it was like being on the Comedy Store stage at Moore Park. You know, that setup.
Wow. I'll have to put that on my list of gigs to do next time I'm down here.
Oh my God, amazing. It's so good.
Yeah, cool.
And you can Yeah, I mean, you can go on a lineup show there, or I did my hour-long solo.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get some stuff out ready for next year for Comedy Festival and just see if it works or not, this concept that I've got. And it works.
A lot of those work in progress type of shows happening at the moment.
Well, yeah, but I charge people. It wasn't... Yeah. But it was basically all my behind-the-scenes stories and crazy stuff that's happened in my life from as in my career.
Talking about crazy stuff.
Have you got a story?
Right? No. Talking about crazy stuff, there was that long period where you were the main support act for the show Puppetry of the Penis, which took you around the world.
No, around Australia.
Busting Out. Busting Out took you around.
Yeah.
Right. But Busting Out was after Puppetry, wasn't it? Or was it around the same time?
Yeah. It was after Puppetry had been world famous. And Puppetry, Busting Out started out as Decuppetry. So and they got the go-ahead. They got the okay from the Puppetry guys to do it. And it ended up, one of the producers of Puppetry ended up producing Busting Out.
Okay.
Yeah, he left Puppetry and came to produce us.
So, what was that like doing this show? Like being involved in these shows? There's so much nudity.
I love nudity. Nudity in me.
The first time you're on stage, did it?
But I wasn't nude.
No, but
and I didn't have to see them nude.
Yeah.
I could keep away from them.
Right.
But it doesn't worry me, and that's the beautiful thing about this show and Busting Out. It's like the body is beautiful, and the poor old penis has had a bad rap. There's a bit of fear factor there.
Really?
So it's just fun to these grown men playing with their dicks. It's hilarious.
To screaming fans.
And it's
what were those audiences like?
Oh,
Tell
my God.
Who goes to see a Puppetry
talking about,
show?
That's really, I probably should have mentioned that. But that's when I really started to hone my craft.
Right, because they were rowdy.
They were gorgeous, amazing women that really needed a fun night out.
Right.
And I was their woman.
Okay.
So basically, the producers came to see me, or the director came to see me at the comedy club. He rang me and wanted to see me, and I said, yeah, I've got a gig at the comedy club. And then I rang the comedy club and went, put me on tonight.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't on. And I did 15 minutes, didn't get paid, just so they could see me. And and I've been pretty much on and off 20 years doing the support for them.
Wow.
But just the travel, it was incredible. It was grueling. And I only did, one of the only reasons why I did do it and all that travelling is because Tony was on the scene and he was very happy to play, the step-parent role, and Abel just adored him.
Right.
So there's no way I would have been able to do it otherwise.
Yeah.
But it just really ticked over.
Yeah.
I was always on the road.
Yeah. And is this what led to the milestone of you being asked to be the first female comic to actually be employed by forces and to go and entertain our troops overseas?
Yeah, possibly. I just really started to become known and popular on stage. So, and that's where it's at for me. Live stand-up is where it's at, and everything else can just come at its own, pace. But I think that's the nucleus. Yeah. If you're really good at owning the stage, delivering properly, and you've done that enough, people are going to notice you. So the comedy club started noticing me. All these clubs around Melbourne and Australia started noticing. And so I was just getting gigs all the time, and private gigs and whatever. So I got a call from Forces Entertainment to go and it was months of training and seminars, and not anyone could go. You had to sit for all these tests. You had to be physically capable.
Tests?
You had to be.
What tests are they going to put a comedian through?
Well, you had to be mentally, stable, because you're in a war. You're in you're surrounded by guns and and you're in a compound.
Yeah.
You know, and there's likely to be something go down.
So where did you go? Went
to the Guadalcanal and Honiara.
Okay.
And I went with the Screaming Jets.
Really?
Hello. On a private
and
jet.
Were you the only comic?
With the Screaming Jets. I was the only comedian.
What?
I know.
Wow.
And I was the first female comedian to perform for Forces Entertainment in Australia.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was so cool.
So were you freaking out leading up to it?
Oh my God. I was like, what am I going to do? Because some of it had to be completely PG.
Right. How come?
Because I was in, there was possibly children around.
Okay.
So we were performing in outposts. Not all of it was PG, but they're very Christian, you know. So you had to mind my P's and Q's.
Yeah. And
then we performed in one of the prisons where some of these crazy political arrest. We performed for the prison guards.
Wow.
Performed in a hangar in the middle of nowhere. Performed in a jungle.
Wow.
And like helicoptered into a jungle.
You were the
helicopter.
You were the Screaming Jets.
Me and the Screaming Jets. And Dave was so freaking scared. I was holding him in this, you know, there's no doors in the helicopter. It's like a Black Hawk, you know. And I'm holding him and he's holding me. I just wanted to end. So we dropped into the jungle.
Wow.
Unbelievable. And so I can sing, so I started singing with the boys as well.
Okay.
Because I could only do so much comedy, but I just did all my impersonations and silly things.
Yeah.
But we sang to the New Zealand troops, Better Be Home Soon.
Oh, right. Beautiful.
And these guys were just like, and then they did the haka for us.
Wow, that's cool.
And so there was just so much beautiful camaraderie and it was one of the happiest times of my life.
Yeah.
And I wrote to some of those guys for years, or they'd come and see me. And
Mick Meredith, when I was chatting to Mick, I had Mick on the podcast a month or so ago, and he was saying that he still chats to a few of the guys that he met when he did it, and he actually rates doing that as probably
the highlight
of his entire career.
When we do the Q&A on
because when you think about
cruises, that's my highlight.
Yeah.
Because
what a privilege.
These guys, absolute privilege. These guys had trekked for 30 days through the jungle, mosquito, living out of, out of tin food, dehydrated food. And we've met them, right? And I went to the mess hall and said, can I take some Cokes and some sandwiches, right? So I got a big plate and met these guys, and they just saw these sandwiches and Cokes and were just like, oh, nothing crying, right? Yes. And there were so many mosquitoes and it was so awful. We ended up finding this hut to sit in, and we just sat there. They didn't care about the jokes. They just sort of came naturally. We just told stories from home.
Wow.
It was so wonderful.
Yeah, that's great.
And it was, and to say thank you, they took us, some of these guys, they knew of a couple of little tiny islands that we could get to from this place. So they took us to this island group that this old fella had bought for tobacco, and he was there on this island, and it was this resort that was abandoned. So we swam at this abandoned resort.
Wow.
It was crazy.
So did you ever have a time over there where you were like, oh, this is a bit sus, or a bit wary?
Yeah, there was a couple of times where the guys had to go, some of the guys that were looking after us had to go before us. Mm-hmm. And we're like, why, what's going on? And I mean...
Making sure it's safe.
Making sure it's safe.
Yeah.
Because there could be some machete-wielding,
Yeah.
banshee coming at us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my Lord. And there was guys, because at Guadalcanal it was fairly casual,
Yeah.
But they had to have their Tommy guns with them.
Yeah.
But they were wearing Hawaiian shirts. It was like something out of MASH. It was crazy. But we were in those army trucks, when you're facing each other
Yeah.
And there was a truck in front of us with securing, and a truck behind us.
Yeah.
And they were, radioing each other. The whole bit was clear, just to get us into these places. And all these bombed out buildings.
Wow.
It was just, nuts. But I felt very safe.
Yeah.
I was invited to go to Afghanistan, but my daughter was only 2.5, 3, and I just didn't want to go.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a totally different ball game over there, isn't it?
Yeah, and I just wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure.
Yeah. Well, you talk to, any guys that have done the Afghanistan and Iraq trips, and they go, it's pretty full on.
Yeah. Whereas, I also the experience. Your daughter,
especially
after that experience
too, you're not going to want to leave her.
You can't. I couldn't do it.
No.
But bubbas need their mamas.
Yeah.
They sort of need their mamas when really early on, and then around about this age. She's 20 now, so yeah. From 13 to now. Yeah. It's mama time.
Yeah.
So I don't tour so much these days.
Yeah.
Because of that.
My next thing that I'd like to chat with you about.
Yeah.
We're talking about touring and that sort of stuff as we get into this wonderful feast that you've got here for us today. Thank you so much.
Some hash browns and some avo.
Yeah, who doesn't love that? Cream cheese. It's a good time in anyone's book. Cream cheese, avocado and a hash brown. So many times over the years, I know myself and other comics have had instances where you've been touring, or might even be in an inner city comedy club.
Yeah.
And then because we're pretty approachable comedians after gigs, people come up to us and what have you, and every now and then you'll get someone that'll come up and they will just really, share with you as to how important that night has been to them, how much they needed it.
I can recall one. My son is mental health has mental health illnesses, a combination of a few things. It's called schizoaffective disorder. So it's bipolar, anxiety, depression. He's got ADHD in there as well, and schizoaffective.
Right.
So it's like schizophrenia, but not quite. Which isn't dangerous, I must point out.
Yeah.
There's the word
stigma attached.
The stigma is very dangerous. The myths.
Yeah.
So yes, I had gone into different areas where he'd been in hippie compounds and whatever, where he'd gone off meds, and I had some crazy stories where I've had to go and get him, and then bring him back home, and then get him, back on medication and into psych.
Yeah.
So there's been some really, really interesting stories that are actually quite funny when in hindsight.
Yeah.
So I just went, the best thing I could do for myself to get this anxiety out of my body and rid myself of it all and process it, I did a comedy show. I did a 1-hour stand-up show. And then, I did a few interviews about the show, what I was going to do in this show, and this young man who was
this was a 1-hour festival
1-hour
show,
comedy festival, Melbourne,
specifically about
my journey with him.
Yeah, right.
And it was called 32 Degrees and Sunny.
Okay.
Which is basically what he figured was a really good day.
Yeah.
And one time I went into the facility, and he'd written it everywhere around the facility.
Yeah.
At the nurses' station, in chalk, on paper outside. It was 32 degrees and sunny, 32 degrees and sunny. And I just thought it was such a fabulous thing to think that 32 degrees and sunny was his optimum,
Yeah.
And then when it was 32 degrees and sunny, he was just like, woohoo!
Yeah. This is the ultimate, this is the day. Yeah.
It's 32 degrees and sunny.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was the name of the show. And this young man who had been a mental health sufferer over the years, and was quite young, probably around about the same age as Abel at the time, and he had come out the other side and was not in psych at that time, and he bought his mum
to your show.
He didn't come, but he got tickets for his mum and her best friend to come and see my show because he thought that it would be really relatable for her. And then afterwards she stood there and she cried and she told me what he'd done, and I was just gobsmacked, you know. And I just said, well, let's keep in touch, and which we did.
Yeah.
And anyway, I think he went back into psych at one stage, and so she was asking me for my opinion on what to do and here and there and whatever. And then he was outside the unit for a spell, and he surprised her for her birthday. This is years later. Surprised her for her 40th birthday.
Right.
It was me.
Oh, really?
So I came out and performed just my regular stand-up.
Yeah.
For her, yeah.
Yeah, great.
And I think Tony came as well, and we set up mics and lights and the whole bit.
Yeah.
And he paid for it.
Yeah,
and I said,
cool.
look, I'm happy to do it. And he said, no, I want to pay you. So that was just incredible. And we stayed in touch for a long time.
Yeah.
But I've stayed in touch with a few people that have either been comedians with kids that have suffered, or they suffered themselves, whatever. And I'm really happy to lend what I know and what info I have that's really helped me. And even nurses and psych and actual counsellors, they pick my brain sometimes on how I've done it or what I do, you know.
Well, we're so vulnerable on stage doing and then what they're going through in their own personal life.
Yeah.
You know, like coming up to you after a gig and going,
yeah,
you know.
That's where comedy and stand-up can be, it's so powerful because you can put your life on hold for a bit, you know, and just laugh. And or there's a show that's specifically for you where you can laugh at it. And that's what Busting Out was about. Because women, we just have so many issues with body image and our boob size, and, you know, that Busting Out was just so great about reclaiming our breasts for ourselves.
Right.
And we had so many women who had breast reduction, breast removal,
like a mastectomy.
We raised $250,000
for like breast cancer.
For not only research but also for women that needed what's it called? Not boob replacement. What am I? After they'd had a removal,
reconstruction
at the same time, because instead of going through 2 bouts of surgery, it was all done at once.
Yeah, right.
So we would help pay for that because there wasn't a government.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So $250,000.
That's crazy.
And we put on shows.
This was all through Busting Out.
All through Busting Out. And we put on. We give away like 100 tickets at a time in a big theatre for pink ladies, and they were ladies that would volunteer for women going through breast cancer or, you know, breast related illnesses. And it was just such a joy. There was busloads of women coming, you know.
Do you reckon the easiest way to get out of a depression is to do something nice for someone
Absolutely.
else?
I'm a big believer in that. And you don't give to receive, you just give.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I think the way that the universe works and manifestation works and all that works is that you get it back tenfold, you know. But you don't do it for that reason.
Yeah.
You know, I just believe that you give a little, you get a little. And a very wise Aboriginal elder said that to me.
Yeah.
Give a little, get a little.
Yeah.
So if you give a lot, you get a lot.
Yeah.
It's just makes sense.
Yeah. And we need to, like now, and we're in a period of time where we've got to giving, you know.
You got to.
And that connection, like giving to someone else, you know, because you never know. One of the things I say to comics, the young comics especially, you never know who's in your audience.
You don't.
And what they're going through.
And that's so evident with, you know, with that woman in particular. But I've had so many people come up and say, Bev, this is pretty hard going. But they actually wrote to me and they said they were considering opting out.
Yeah.
And they enjoyed the show so much that they changed their mind.
Yeah. You're not the first person to say that.
Really?
Actually, yeah. No, well, you know, like Stav Davidson, Kat Davidson's husband, you know, I had him on a couple of weeks ago and he was saying that he's had, because, you know, he's breakfast radio and he's had, he just celebrated 20 years on the radio.
Wow.
And he's had a couple of instances over the years where people have met him in person and said, you know, they were actually planning on taking their own life, and they listened to him in the morning and made him laugh. And you know, Craig Coombs, who I'm seeing tomorrow, is a similar sort of thing. And you know, you never know the impact, and that's why I'm
tattooed on his arm.
Me too.
Right about there.
You're there.
I've got a big kiss.
I'm up here somewhere. You know.
I kissed a napkin, and then did my signature, and he's even got the right pink.
Really?
In the tattoo, yeah. I really, really try hard to be a good person. You know.
You never know what they're going through.
You never know. I had an instant yesterday just walking up the street and there was this guy, and I think he might have been on something. He was yelling at this young guy who was, you know, had a button-up shirt on, you know, who was just crossing the street minding his own business. This guy's walked past him and goes, "What are you looking at, mate?" And he was screaming at him, right? Anyway, I don't frighten easily, and I'm just... I don't know. I think I'm 6 foot when I'm 5. Anyway, I just stood in between him and the other guy, and I just stared him down. I went like that to him, like, "On your bike," and he just turned around and he left. I went like that to him, turned around, and this young dude's just standing there going, "What just happened?" And I just went, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And he goes, "I don't know what all that was about." And I said, "Well, it wasn't nothing to do with you." Yeah. And a lot to do with him. He's got anger issues, but we don't need to worry about him. Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah. And he said, "Yeah, I will be. But I'm glad I wasn't just over there because he smashed the bus stop." And I went, "Well, just, you know, try and get rid of it, the energy, and then just go about your day, go and sit and relax somewhere, breathe, and have a fantastic rest of your day. The sun's out." And he was just like, "Oh my God, yeah, thank you so much." Yeah. Because you know what I found is that young men feel like they have to be brave all the time. It's like that was frightening. That was a frightening situation. Yeah. You know, but not only that's a shock. It's like we don't have to be brave all the time. Comedy is the perfect vehicle to diffuse negative energy. And I mean, I've used that especially in my son's case, with his you know, mental health illnesses, and sometimes he would be, you know, really did think he was from Scotland and you know, some royalty and whatever, and I would go, "Yes, my liege. Yes, my liege." You know, just so funny, and we just play act it out and just have fun with it. You know.
How have you been able to maintain your own mental health while you've been looking after?
There was a few times where I didn't.
Yeah.
There was a few times where I absolutely...
Because that's hard. Supporting a family member is...
I mean, luckily I had support around me. Yeah. But it dragged on for probably 15...
That's the key, isn't it? Having
15 more years than I thought it would.
Yeah, right.
Because when someone presents when they're 17 or roundabout, you know, that's a very tender age. Right. Yeah. So they haven't got their adult brain on yet, so it's very hard to reason with them. Yeah. Anyway, at that age, so you know, to get them to stay on medication is almost impossible. Yeah. And it's just a revolving door all the time. They're in, they're out. They're in, they're out. Yeah. But we've just got there in the end, and I mean, you know, I would have things happen where I'd be on tour and I'd have to come off tour.
Yeah.
But luckily with A-List Entertainment, who I've been with for a number of years, long time, they are so supportive.
Yeah. Incredibly
supportive. And I mean, they send Abel all the DVDs and all the, you know, because laughter is the best medicine, right?
Yeah.
And Abel loves comedy.
Yeah.
So they would send him all this stuff. And also during the comedy festival, he would work for a few comedians and whatever, and go and see their shows, and you know, and he came to Edinburgh with us.
Yeah.
You know, just comedy's a massive part of his healing process.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a few times I crumbled.
Yeah.
And I can remember one time walking up the street and my knees buckled, and it just came from nowhere, and I just dropped, you know, and I think I was just holding on so tight for so long for hope and whatever, and then I just went. Anyway, Hannah Gadsby and I were really good mates at that stage, and we'd become friends during Edinburgh because we, you know, she'd been a sufferer of depression and whatever, and Abel was over there, and we just all joined forces, you know, all of us guys that were a bit nuts, you know? And looked after each other. Anyway, I think she called me or something, and she realised that I was not in a very good state, and I had a gig that night. Anyway, she put a little committee together, Hannah Gadsby.
Did you say committee?
Committee.
Yeah.
For me.
Okay, great.
There was always a committee.
Support committee? I love this. Someone
came over and did some housework, because Tony and Pepper were away somewhere. Pepper was at a camp, Tony was on tour, I don't know. So I was on my own. Someone came and cleaned, someone came and brought some food over. Someone just, I think Hannah just came and just hung out.
Yeah.
But she put
Shared space.
Shared space,
because sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, you can't talk. I was just like, I'd reached a level.
Yeah.
And she rang the comedy club or wherever I was supposed to be playing, and said she's not. She did all the work for me. I didn't have to do it, and I would never not do a break. I would like crawl on the stage, you know. So yeah, so I had a mental break, yeah. And then I went on to, I've been on
Can I just
Lexapro for years now.
Yeah.
Just takes the edge off it for me, because I never want to get like that again.
Sure.
It was really scary. So I'm glad that there are medications available. To help with it.
I just want to unpack a little bit more about I'm fascinated by the fact that fellow comics, you included, have, and I know it's happened to me over the years, where we walk on stage at a moment in our life where everything seems to be falling apart.
Yeah.
Like there was a time in my life where my stepfather was in hospital dying of nine brain tumours.
Oh.
And I'd drive from there across town, be backstage at the comedy club in tears going, how can I do this? And you know, my other comics would just go, just worry about the first couple of minutes, just worry about it.
Drop your microphone.
And you walk out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. And somehow or other, you just got to put it on hold.
And it's a holiday.
It's cathartic.
It is cathartic.
Absolutely cathartic. And I mean, it's also selfless, because it's not about you.
Yeah.
It's about them.
Yeah.
And I tell you, that's healing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so healing. It's like that. It's like when you're in a room, it's such a magical experience for those that haven't been up on stage themselves.
Even if you've just told a joke.
There's an energy between you that starts to happen. And once you lose, you know, those big nerves that you'd get when you first start, you can just start to relax and relate, and just things come to you, and you can improvise and relate, and people can talk to you and whatever. And it can just be the best time. And that's when I think I used to get the standing ovations, you know, because I just go into this zone where I just create on my feet, you know, just from feeling them.
Yeah.
But it's the most incredible thing.
Yeah.
And people just say, you know, that was just one of the best nights of my life. You know, and you've forgotten about it, and you're on stage again the next night going, here I am again, you know.
Yeah.
And you've done something to them, and they will never forget it long after you have.
Yeah.
But so you are making moments.
Yeah.
And we're changing the world. Fuck it.
Oh, look, I totally, you know, you Richard to the converter there. So, I've got this thing, I've been thinking a lot lately about how much people value the art of stand-up.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. And I think it's changing. But yeah, I know those gigs where they don't want to turn the telly off. They don't want to do this, they don't want to do that. No one's sitting. People are talking, they're heckling, all that. They're few and far between now because we can just go, no, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
Unless you can get it right, logistically, we're not doing it. And most people that
we say that, though.
We say that.
There are a lot of rooms out there, as you know, that they just, you know, these little rooms popping up around the place. That you go, really? You're going to try and do stand-up here?
No. It's like, don't get into running a room just for the sake of it. You've got to know what you're doing. So don't even bother. If the venue cannot respect you and your craft, your art, then don't bother. There's plenty of places that will. There's plenty of people that will back it. Yeah. You know. How do you reckon it's because it's changed a lot in the time that we've been doing it, stand up. You know. Yeah. How do you see it's? Well, since social media came about, you can't get away with anything. I mean, the way that we were treated as women was unreal. I mean, I'm gutsy, but I still, you know, would cry at just the way that some of these boys would make me feel. Or that you were... Are you talking about fellow comics or audience members? Yeah, fellow comics, and which I have nothing to do with anymore. And I totally remember who was good to me, and just wouldn't have it, you know. But there was sometimes, are you ready for a female comedian? That was your intro. I mean, what? You were second class comedian. You didn't get paid as much. Really? It's like, no. At the time? There was a female rate. No. I didn't know any of this. There wasn't even any... If they didn't have any females on the bill, whatever. They didn't feel like they had to. Yeah, right. There was no have to. And because there was that whole... turning point? Well, there was this whole women aren't funny bullshit. Right. And that went on for years. So can you imagine I'm entering the industry when that is still going on? Yeah, wow. And now, however many years later, maybe 25, maybe 30. Maybe. I'll do gig. I did a gig recently on a ship, on a cruise, and there was all these young men sitting in the front row, and they were like this, loving it. Yeah, yeah. Because they didn't get the memo. Because they weren't born yet. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They haven't. There's never been that in their lives. Yeah. As far as the current generation, there's always been female comics. There always has been. You know. So they're like, oh no, didn't get that memo. What? What do you mean? That's ridiculous. Yeah. Because this new generation of young people are so woke and so switched on, and I think woke is a good thing, by the way. They're so switched on. There's no, you know, misgendering or, you know, or any of that anymore. You know, you don't expect that someone's a he. It's like what their pronouns are. Yeah. You know. Yeah. It's brilliant. I love it. It can. I don't know. I'm not 100%. You're not 100%. I'm not 100%. It can get a little bit too. Well, because to me, I look at it in a way that it encourages division.
and as a society we want to be. The thing that it's trying
I think it just goes. I think it's inclusivity.
No, but this is what I'm saying is the thing that it's trying to achieve, which is inclusivity, which I'm all for. Unfortunately, in certain instances, it creates division.
Yeah, but that's only with the bogan numbskulls that don't want to think for themselves.
But that's what I'm saying is there's always going to be that.
Yeah, but that'll go as well. I mean, the amount of guys over time it will.
Yeah.
It's just like get used to it, get over it, build a bridge.
We're in a transitional
period.
It's here
to stay.
Yeah.
So, back off. And I mean, you see that on social media. You know, I don't even bother saying anything anymore. But if someone says something that I find is a bit of a trope about mental health, I don't write back a big spiel anymore. I just do a hashtag. Mental health is no joke. Or stomp out stigma. So I've worked for a few different people here and there about on this, you know, ways to stomp out stigma and just, you know, I've had lots of interviews. And
that's the big thing is the stigma, you know, like we've come a long way in the field of mental health and suicide prevention, but we've still got a long way to go.
We totally do. We just got to look after each other, you know, just look after each other's emotions. You do not know where someone is at. And the thing with mental health is, as well, is everyone that suffers from mental health isn't necessarily unstable. Like mental instability and anger-related mental instability is not necessarily a mental health issue. There's a spectrum. Not everyone that suffers from bipolar or schizophrenia or anxiety is dangerous.
Absolutely.
Yes, they can reach a level where they truly believe they're in an alternate reality. But that doesn't mean that they're going to wield a machete down a street. I know that there has been situations like that in the past, but that is because that person has not got help. The family's been trying to help them, you know, and it's just become a situation. But if there's enough support around that sufferer, that stops that can stop that from becoming full blown. Unfortunately, when someone is starting to suffer psychosis or whatever, they're probably not too scared to tell anyone because it's so scary about the misconceptions out there and what a psych ward looks like and what's going to happen to them. You know, the whole men in coats are going to come and take them away and handcuff them and, you know, put them in an ice bath and a stretch.
Because that was how it was portrayed in the movies for so long.
It absolutely was. And some people still think that that's how it is. I kid you not.
I am not surprised.
And they
don't know any better. And that's right. It's all about education.
I totally shut down a short film that was going to be based in an asylum. And it was going to be a horror in an asylum. And I can't stand that. That it's people with mental health illnesses. It's instantly it's a horror.
There's already enough stigma in society. You don't want to go and contribute to it.
And that's why a lot of young people don't say anything about how they're feeling. And it can lead to suicide, unfortunately. Because they just get so far gone without getting any help that they can harm themselves. Just to get away from that, it's the horror that they go through. It's awful. The things that they can think. They think that everyone's a devil. They think that they're going to die. They think all these things, you know. They think everyone is against them and they get paranoid and it feels so real. You can't talk them out of it. You can't just go, there, go and have a bath, you'll be right. You can't talk them out of it, unfortunately. And you can't yoga your way to, you can't smoke dope, you can't smudge, you can't meditate your way out of it.
So what advice, like, you know, someone that may be listening, we've got people all around the world tuning into this, so someone that may be listening that is the beginning of their journey in relation to looking after a family member with a diagnosis?
You do need to get a psych team.
Yeah, you need a support network, don't you?
You do. You need a psych team, but you need to get a triage. And unfortunately, and it's ridiculous, they have to be at a level where they are a harm to themselves or others for them to be deemed an emergency psych situation.
Yeah.
Even though, in an hour's time they might run into the traffic.
Acute stage. Yeah.
It's an acute stage, but you actually have to say, yes, they are a harm to themselves or others.
Yeah.
Even if they're not, you just say it. So don't worry about that.
Yeah.
It's not going to, it's a means to an end. You have to help them and stop them. So basically keep them contained, which can be very difficult. A few times Tony has helped contain Abel by getting out the guitar.
Yeah.
Other friends have sort of, come around, and we end up playing or playing games, distraction, poetry, singing, whatever. Give them some food, just distract.
Yeah.
Put some cartoons on, anything.
Yeah.
And then get the psych team around here. They evaluate and then they make the call.
Yeah.
And sometimes if they're not, that won't go willingly, they have a police officer come.
Yeah.
But I always get them to be quiet.
Yeah.
Non-threatening, remove their hat, and do not stand on the front patio. I don't want everyone to think that there's a dangerous thing happening at my house. It's not.
Yeah.
And it's just all done very quietly. So absolutely make sure that happens. And I know that in Victoria, that has changed now. There's a whole new way of treating someone with psychiatric illness.
Okay.
So.
And are you these changes that they brought in? Are you aware? Like, are they positive changes? They
are positive changes where the police are now aware that of how to treat a sufferer.
Yep.
To not be loud, not come at them, not. And don't come with with sirens on, and that's the same with ambulance and police as well. It's like because that just can, if they were having a really bad sort of
don't dramatise
psychosis,
the situation.
It just makes it so much worse to the point where they become out of control. Yeah.
Yeah.
So once they're just leave them alone for a couple of days. It's up to them. So there's nothing you can say that's going to make it better for them. So you can't say, you can't. You just have to let them deal. And the way that they help deal with bringing that psychosis down is there's no stimuli. Right. There's no stimulus.
Yeah.
So there's no traffic. There's no, electrical noise. There's nothing. There's no stimulus. And there's no way that they can harm themselves. There's no objects that can be harmful. Yeah. They don't even have a belt. Yeah. They don't have shoelaces, anything.
Yeah.
So without that stimuli, with the proper medication for them to calm down, they do give the medication to help them calm down.
Yeah.
So that is where some of those, things that do happen in an asylum way back, that does happen. So, and then slowly...
You're talking here about the ECT?
No, with medication.
Right.
They do need to be quietened, and there's lots of really good medications now.
Yeah.
And sometimes that is via a syringe or whatever, because it just needs to be stopped, And sleep is one of the biggest things. So more often than not, when someone's in psychosis, they haven't eaten, they haven't washed, they've walked for miles, they've been in this state for so long they cannot sleep, which just makes it worse. So it's just
self-perpetuating.
It's just getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
So they need to sleep.
Yeah.
And eat, and lots of water, and just calm, and that can take a week to 2 weeks.
Right.
For them to actually start sleeping properly.
Yeah.
So there's someone, the nurses and doctors are there to help navigate that. So I wouldn't suggest visiting them in the first few days, because you can just be that person. You're just going to cop it for putting them there. And I've got to the point now where my son is really grateful that I've helped Whereas early on, I was the arch enemy, you know.
Which must be incredibly hard.
It is, but it's like, it's tough love.
Yeah.
It's like when someone's on drugs, as you know. Yeah. You just got to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and if that's getting locked up in prison, if that is, you know, that's what it takes. I mean, I'm not saying that a person who has mental health needs to be locked up in prison. I'm just saying that sometimes people who are, you know, have drug issues as well as mental health issues will steal or whatever. Sometimes, you know. Yeah, well, that's 100% right. You know, sometimes incarceration, you know, it's a situation where it forces them to detox. That's it.
That's it. Fundamentally.
Yeah.
You know.
And detox as well. It's like we found this amazing place. It's in the Dandenong in Melbourne, and it was like a $75 million project. $75 million. And they actually asked inpatients about what they would need in there. So they had all that input. Is this a rehabilitation facility? Yeah. A rehab? A facility. Okay. No, for mental health, yeah. Right. And it's got a youth wing, one of the first ever. Okay. They're so specific, you know. And then there's forensics, and there's all different types, you know. But it was the most incredible facility. And lots of gardens, and their unit, they got their own bedroom, state of the art. Just really gorgeous colours, dimmable lights, you know. Cool. Music rooms, you name it, right? But the amount of kids that were in there that was had been on ice, because ice really, it's a drug that can cause psychosis. But not only can it cause psychosis, it can be a long-term. Yeah. And it's just frightening. But it's also frightening how many parents don't have the skills. Well, yeah, and just parents, family members, you know. They just don't have the skills. Yeah, and that's the thing is, you can't look at one person to have what we call the burden of responsibility. Yeah. You know, like if you're the support person for a family member that's going through that, you can't do it on your own. No. You know, when I've support the supporter. That's right, care for the carer sort of thing. You know, like, and so when I've gone through a situation where I've had to ring up a support line because I've been worried about a family member with ice. You know, I've been told the same thing time and time again. We never hear from the people that are actually got the addiction or have the problem. Well, you don't. We hear from the family. They're the last person that knows. We hear from the parents and the carers and that's right. And the big thing is that I was constantly being told, you can't let their addiction ruin your life. No. Because they, you know, and this just got to keep getting on with it somehow. Yeah, they were saying that, you know, because what happens is time and time again these people would see parents mortgage their homes to put their kids through rehab and all of this kind of stuff, and then what happens when the person with the addiction then finds themselves in a position where they're coming out the other side and they're in a position to need help. You can't help them because you've let all part of your life. Fortunately, though, in this country, we don't have to come up with a lot of money because there's government assistance. Sure, yeah. But there's been times where I just haven't been able to work because I've been too anxious, but luckily I'm in a marriage where, you know, that would be compensated, you know. Yeah. Or I would just do a few gigs here and there, or a voiceover or an ad, and then I'd, you know, make a bit of wedge, you know, that way. But it was very difficult. This comes back to the fact that you can't do it by yourself. You haven't been. That's right. You haven't been able to navigate this entire process on your own. Yeah. It's impossible, and the burden of responsibility is too much for one person. That's right, it is. A few times I have felt very on my own, where, you know, maybe Tony's been away or it's not possible for him to give anymore, was when you're the parent, and I'm going to say this, especially the mother, you find a lot of mums up at the ward and at the facility. There's not a whole lot of dads.
Yeah.
It can. Oh, sorry, I'm just feeling a bit emotional.
So
it can.
We can have a break if you want to.
No, it's all right. Yeah, it can just fall to you, basically. And I know that sometimes Abel is only going to get better and through it if I just stay the distance. I am his absolute champion, and he knows that. He knows at the end of the day, the person that he can trust the most in this world is me.
Yeah.
And I remember one time he was in Sydney psych, you know, because he had to be, because that's where he went into psychosis. And I was on a ship, and I still did the ship, but we were stopping one day in Sydney.
Oh, okay.
So I got off the ship, went and saw him, even though they weren't going to let me, and I said, I'm going, because he was in acute.
Right.
And you can't get visitors, you can't have visitors when you're in acute, and I just absolutely said, I'm coming up.
Yeah.
And he was in a really bad way. He was deathly pale. He was just really bad, probably the worst I'd ever seen him.
Really? And
I just stayed with him for hours and hours and hours, made him eat, sang with him, joked around with him, made him eat and drink, eat and drink, eat and drink, and begged him to get some sleep. Anyway, the next day, a friend took a guitar up to him, which I asked a comedian, and she said he looked amazing. And she took a photo. And I went, that's not the same guy as yesterday.
Wow. Isn't that interesting?
And that's how quick it can change.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I tell you, the more someone feels supported and loved, and that they're not a monster for having this stigmatized illness, you know, that they're not a weirdo, that they're not a, you know, retard or, you know, anything like that. They're just loved and honoured and respected for who they are. Yeah. That it's not their fault. It is not their fault. Yeah. You know, that's an unfortunate illness.
That phrase really sums it up for me. It's not their fault. Yeah. And acknowledging that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's like people say, oh, so what's he? How is he now? And it's like, well, he's totally fine. He's medicated. He goes to counsellors. He hikes.
Awesome.
He will do hikes mountains and goes. He's on festival committees, so he's on the seed camp to put festivals on. He does first aid courses.
He's engaged in community.
RSI, he's community, He just gets on with it. His music is amazing. He's written songs about his mental health and how it's impacted him. One's called Fruit Nut.
Right.
There's just he's doing all the right things. He's totally in the best place he's been in such a long time. He's got his own apartment, studio apartment. Yeah. Because even getting him a rental was difficult.
Right, yeah.
Because as soon as someone's on a pension or has a mental health disability, it's like, it's all over. Yeah, they just instantly think, you know, something's going to happen. Yeah. Something bad's going to happen.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. And I don't tell everyone. I just don't. Because I just don't care for that opinion. Yeah. I don't care for a negative opinion. Or I think sometimes people think that I might be, you know, I might be the same or something like that. Yeah. But it's horrifying what people can think. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's so because, you know, I know that over the years I've seen it take its toll on you over the years. Yeah. You know, and
I went grey without realising because I just always dyed my hair. Yeah. But I'd have hair loss. That was one thing that, you know, because every couple of years he would present, you know, and every couple of years I'd lose my hair. and it was always in this one spot.
Yeah, right.
You know, and it was just the trauma of the situation or the anxiety.
The anxiety, the stress, that everything it brings up again. Yeah.
That's it. Or I'd be sort of a little bit, didn't want to go out or didn't want to go into crowds. And even now, I sort of, I just sort of stick to St Kilda as much as I feel. I don't go outside of my comfort zone. I just don't, if I don't have to do something, I don't.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much for sharing all of that stuff about
no problem.
All of that. And, I'm so glad that, you've been able to find a way to navigate your way through it.
Yeah. And comedy's been my champion for that.
Abel's in a good place.
He's in a great place. And I'll tell you, he's so funny.
I love the fact that you've recognised over this journey when you've been doing things that might be self-destructive in a way of coping, which we all do. We lose ourselves in smoke too much weed or drink too much, or go out or whatever. Because you need that kind of release.
You need an outlet. Yeah. But even like my daughter from the whole COVID situation, she started, developing some anxiety and issues, and creativity has just really helped her. Being creative, and I mean, you saw her going to a Gaga concert.
Lady Gaga concert, yeah.
And she's put together this outfit, and
she's amazing.
She's so amazingly creative, and we've built a loft up there. She's got, she draws, she writes.
Yeah.
She sings, and she's got a wicked sense of humour as well. It's so important to have a creative outlet.
Yeah.
And stand-up comedy has been so valuable to me through all this, the last 20 years.
And you seem to have come, in a way, you've come a little bit full circle, because I know when you started, you went acting and that sort of stuff, and now in the last couple of years, you seem to be ticking off a few.
Yeah.
Like the acting gigs seem to be coming. Is this something that you kind of just focused on the stand-up for a long time, and then you've gone, I want to get back into the acting? Because
and I just started doing a couple of courses, because I was always afraid of the camera. For some reason, like the camera wasn't, I don't know, it just wasn't good in front of a camera. I'd get nervous, or I'd get conscious and all this sort of stuff. And then I did a course that was specific to that, and sort of, felt a bit more secure. And then I did another one, and then I did another one, and I just went off and did them, didn't tell anyone.
Is it in the last few years?
No, in the last maybe 15 years. I've just done loads of courses.
Yeah.
And then, I just, some affirmations and some manifestation. And then I think just from being on a few galas and big shows in front of 3,000, 2,000, all that, I just started to reach a tipping point.
Yeah.
Where I just didn't have those nerves anymore.
Yeah, right.
And I still don't, where, I can walk onto the stage or perform in front of a camera, and I don't have this real
self-consciousness.
Oh, like I'm going to break, you know, or I'm going to shit myself.
Yeah.
So that was all happening, and then I just got a couple of really good, high-paid commercials.
You enjoying the acting work?
My God, it's just my greatest. I mean, I love stand-up, but this is like, it's everything I wanted. It's like, that was my big dream as a kid.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was always funny, so I do, some serious roles and people would laugh regardless. So I'm now at a stage where women are really revered in that sphere.
Yeah.
No matter what age. So it's like the ageism's gone, the sexism's gone, the whole beauty myth is on the way out, So I would audition for things, and there was just like these gorgeous model-looking girls sitting next to me, because that's what they were after. It was about the looks. It was ridiculous. Right. Anyway, so I'm now at this age where I know myself. I'm relaxed with myself and my world. I'm in a great relationship. My kids are fine. I'm stable. I've got real estate. I've got a dog. I've got a van. You know what I mean? The kids are okay.
Yeah. That's.
So when I do go for an audition now, I'm just like, totally.
You're more relaxed.
Nailing it.
There's no.
I'm nailing it.
That's awesome.
And I've been for a few now where they've already got me for the role, but they just want another director to see me.
Yeah.
And I've now had 5 roles where Bev is my actual name, character name.
Yeah.
So I've been Bev in.
Yeah. And I've got to tell you, like
Bev or Beverly.
Yeah, and a few of the, like, I reckon the camera loves you in these roles.
It's interesting.
Because you're a natural. That's how you come across.
Yeah.
And even though it's an ad, right?
Yeah.
One of my most favourite things is when I see that commercial come on where it's the nude drawing class.
Yeah. Mars bar. Hi, sweetie.
No matter how many times I see that ad,
That was crazy good fun making that. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But I did the No Nanny State, which was the huge. And I walked into the audition and I wanted them to see me in it.
Yeah.
So I've gone and got myself an olive green button-up suit, blazer, with a tie, skirt, pencil, brown shoes like a prison warden, with an umbrella and glasses, and gone, I'll tell you where you can and cannot smoke. And then the director's just gone, okay, we found her.
Yeah.
Let everyone else go.
Yeah, awesome.
That's it.
That's great.
So you just...
And have you got to...
I know what I can do. For some reason, if I can get what the sell point is and what they're trying to get across, I can do it. I can sell it.
Did I see something recently that you've got a gig coming up, which is your cartoon? Like, is it in animation? Are you doing an animation?
Yeah. We haven't had our script read yet, but that's going to be happening very
So this
soon.
is a thing? This is actually happening?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Molly and Peggy.
Right.
And it's based on...
an Australian production?
It's a true... Yes, it's a true story about this dog that befriended a magpie.
Okay.
And they're just such great mates, and this magpie just basically didn't want to leave, and just lives with them. And then the council got involved. This is in Queensland.
Right.
The council got involved and said, no, that's a native species, blah, blah, blah. You can't keep it. So they took the bird away, and the dog was just inconsolable. So everyone sort of mounted this big petition about it, and they took the bird back.
Right.
So it's about this beautiful friendship.
And so what's this called for when it comes out?
Molly and Peggy.
Molly and Peggy. Yeah. Right.
So I play the role of a sassy cat.
Right.
So it's not just those two, it's also the other dog that lives in that household.
Yeah.
And then there's all these other dogs. There's and horses and cats and all sorts of animals.
How exciting.
Jamoan is playing an Irish wolfhound.
That's great.
And Lawrence Mooney is...
Lawrence Mooney's in it.
Yeah. There's so many people in it.
Fantastic. That's cool.
And I was offered that, which is great. I think he'd heard my voice in something else. And that's happened a few times. Like I play... God, I feel like I'm really on one. Sorry. On this ego trip. But I'm very excited about it all.
It is exciting.
It is, when you're offered.
Yeah, totally, because there's a difference between, if you can get to the point where the work is finding you.
Yeah.
That to me...
That's a point.
That to me is the definition of success.
And that happened with... I think the first time that happened was with Sunshine, the series.
Yeah.
They wanted me in it.
Yeah.
And then there was...
and it's like people ringing you up for a gig.
Yeah.
Get out your diary. Are you available for these gigs? So...
But that's happened to me in the past... maybe 5 different series and films that I've done. Like, That's Not My Dog, I was offered the role, didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Jones Family Christmas?
Yeah.
Offered. There's just so many that are like that now, which is just unreal.
It's awesome. I'm so happy for you because because it's a tough gig.
But the voiceovers is where it's at for me right now.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise that it could be lucrative because the voiceovers that I'd done, and I've been doing them on and off for years, were like 200, 300 maybe, radio ad and whatever. But I'm doing these ones now that are like DoorDash is, the States.
Right.
And it's like, what? You're paying me what? But I also do
It's nice to see that reward coming after like it's this whole thing about especially in entertainment and comedy, the overnight successes that I know have been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah. And also it's like, you can't deny me now. You can't deny me.
I've paid my dues.
I've paid my dues. I've done the hard yards.
Yeah.
And you can't...
Let's talk about...
You can't human-splain how to be a comedian to me anymore.
Yeah.
Let's
talk about doing your hard yards, because this is something that I've been finding really interesting recently. That doing your hard yards now, if you're entering into the comedy industry, is totally different to what doing your hard yards was.
Who knows? I don't know. But I think...
Because like you were saying before about the internet's changed everything.
Sexism. It's not so sexist. I think there's still the gender pay issue.
I've got no idea about that.
For presenter roles or whatever. It depends who you are, I suppose. But also, it's like inclusivity is amazing now. And like the Melbourne International Comedy Festival, there is so many do's and don'ts. Absolute do's and don'ts.
Are you talking about from the festival for the act?
For the act. For the... Like, you cannot put down a person for their gender, their sexuality, their looks. You can't... And even reviewers can't talk about your looks.
Oh, you know what I mean? Okay, right, yeah.
Or you cannot be racist. You cannot be any of these things, You can't talk about domestic violence. Like, I MC a lot of the raw heats, and you just cannot get up on stage as a new comedian and do something racist, sexist, domestic violence, anything like that.
And yet
gender violence.
I'm seeing it a lot. I'm seeing it a lot.
In Brisbane, do you remember I used to crack it?
Open mic nights for some reason.
Yeah, I just go, nah, get off the stage.
Yeah.
I've been very well known in Brisbane especially for just going, nah, stops here, off.
Yeah.
MC, pull them off.
Yeah.
Pull them off the stage. And I've turned to the rest of the comedians, and unfortunately it's mostly male, and said, if anyone else has got anything similar to that, you can either scrub it out and do some jokes that are not this, and this, or go home and get your shit together, because it's not happening while I'm emceeing. Yeah. And they go, and they write awful shit about me. I don't care. And then it comes back that I was well in my place to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And had the backing of the venues and the and sit down at Fidelli.
I've done it before myself, where I've gone halfway through the show, I've said to the guy running the desk, I need you to get all of the acts and take them out the back into the car park, because I need to talk to them.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you going to do? What are you talking about? And I said, all of them.
It's not on my watch. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and because I'm protective of the industry.
I know that you're like that. I've seen you do that.
Yeah.
And I've seen you have great chats with the audience on stage and just go, you're not alone. If you're going through this, there is help, blah, blah, blah. And then people are just like, oh, wow, what? I'm not alone. I'm not the only person that's felt this and thought this. We are, I don't know, we are a special breed, I think. I just refuse to be amongst that.
What's your advice to someone there? Because, I get asked about people wanting to think about being a comedian. What's your advice to someone these because I'm sure it's different now to what it might have been 10 or 15 years ago. If someone comes in, they're saying to you, I love what you do, Bev. You know, I've always thought about doing stand-up. How do I start?
Just go to as many shows as you can. Don't get up until you're ready. Yeah. Which, I mean, don't let it take 10 years.
Do one of the comedy courses.
Yeah, do one of the comedy courses. Some kind of training. Read about it.
Yeah.
If it comes naturally to you and you think you've got it, then don't do a course, whatever.
Yeah.
But just get five solid minutes together.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do a different lot of comedy.
That's the big.
Because I think what puts people off from even starting is that they think that they just need to, you know, it needs to be this ongoing, like having to write all this material. No, you need to try it and test it and try it, and get the rhythm of it right, get the punchline correct, get the tags correct. I'm using all these. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. But But yeah, have a solid intro. Let them know who you are, because you don't have to be anyone else. Being you is unique. Yeah. What is unique in your world that you can offer that no one else can? What's your take? You know, what do you find funny? What do you think is funny? Yeah. And punchlines can be depending on what kind of humour you have. Is it sarcastic? Is it this? Is it
exaggerating? Is that? I'm
exaggerating. Yeah. The word exaggerating. All different kinds of humour. So have a good intro, have a good couple of routines, some throwaways, and end with something.
Okay, so we're going to wind this up. You've been so giving of your time and,
no worries,
so open with everything. Okay, so we like to finish with what we call the feel-good 5.
Right.
Right, your answers can be as short or as long as you like. Totally up to you. So the feel-good 5, the first question is, what makes you happy, Bev?
What makes me happy? You know what makes me happy? When those around me are happy.
Yeah, cool.
It's interesting, but I love my little hobby. I love having my hobbies. You know, you got to do other things other than stand up or acting or whatever. Yeah. You know, and that for me is buying and selling and fixing and you know, op shopping.
Love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Things like that. I love cooking. Love cooking.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
Yeah, nice. What are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for my relationships around me, and I'm grateful for to have good health. Yeah. That's, you know, there's a bit that's not so great in my health, but there was a few years ago I had a stroke. Yeah. And I had to change.
On stage?
On stage, yes.
On stage.
Interesting. But so I'm very grateful that I've come through that. And interestingly, after having a stroke and nearly losing my life, let's be honest, I don't sweat the small stuff. If I need to say no, I say no. And I'm just one of these people that I'm so optimistic, even when it's like ridiculous for me to be optimistic. It's like if I've got a hole in my bucket, I'll go, oh well, you know, another bucket will come along. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like I could be, you know, everything could go, but I know that I'll go and buy a nice new tent. So we've lost our house, it's okay. We'll get a nice tent. You know? I don't know. I'm very optimistic, and I always think that good things are going to happen. My husband will go into a negative spiral. My kids will go into a negative spiral. I'm like, it's all going to be okay. I just know it. Yeah. Because I just have that, and more often than not, it all, you know,
relationships.
Works out.
I love it when I ask people what are they grateful for, and the first thing they say is the relationships.
Yeah. Because
it's everything. You know, like when I do my Laughter Clinic mental health presentations, I go out into the audience and I go, you know, tell me 5 things that make you happy, right? Because it's a specific mental health thing. And I go out in the audience, stand up, mate, how you going, right? And we trip around, and then we come back and I say to them, what did all of the answers have in common?
Yeah.
Right? And generally the top 3 are relationships, friends, family, you know, work colleagues that I'm with or whoever.
And my little mate here.
And because we talk about physical health, we talk about physical health and mental health, but we don't talk enough about social health.
Yeah,
and it is an
very,
actual
very
thing.
important.
It is an actual thing.
Yes.
So I'm glad. I love the fact, and I knew it doesn't surprise me that's something that you're grateful for, the relationships. You know, it doesn't.
Yeah,
That doesn't
who else is
surprise
going to
me
laugh
at
at your jokes?
all. Of course, right? Well, I'm very grateful for our friendship. That
Yes, and likewise.
for however long.
We've gone grey together.
Yes. Well, one of us is embracing it. Okay, so happiness, gratitude. What are you looking forward to? What are you looking forward to that's coming?
I am looking forward to Deadlock Season 2, March the 20th.
Course, yes. How exciting.
Because I have a role in it.
Yeah.
And
where can people see that if they want to tune in?
It's on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime, yep. Excellent.
It was the most incredible experience.
Cool. Just on that, so if while I'm on where people can watch that, if people wanted to keep a track of where you are and what you're up to, what's the best avenue to follow you on?
I'm on A-List. I think they've got me on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So you can see a few of my stand-up bits and pieces. But I suppose my Facebook page.
Yep, just Bev Killick. Yep.
Yeah, Instagram. But my Instagram is not really my career-oriented. Yep. It's more, pictures of my dog and food.
Yeah.
But I think it's good to just,
just so I can put something in the show notes. If people go, how do I follow Bev?
Facebook.
Okay, cool. Right, so looking forward to Deadlock. Season 2.
Deadlock Season 2. I can't wait for people to see what I can actually do.
Yeah.
As an actor character. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say earlier, it's just a really good time for women in comedy who are also actors, and I am a trained actor, fully trained in method, television, film, you name it. But a lot of people just see me as a stand-up, but I'm all those things. So to be able to, have Deadlock where
you're there.
And it's so popular, and it's like top 10 streaming in more than 163 countries.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
It's so cool.
So my character's going to be in another language.
It's unreal.
The reason why it's taken so long for Season 2 is because they have to put it in all these different languages, and they have to do all the subtitles, and they have to do all, So anything else you're looking forward to other than that coming out? Well, we've just bought a caravan in Dalesford, so we're going to go and stay out there for 2 weeks.
Awesome.
Just really enjoy it and go for some hiking, and I'm a bit of a foodie, so we're going to have some nice food.
Nice.
Tony is really into his running and stuff these days, so he can do all that.
Great.
Yeah, just looking forward to a couple of weeks in the van.
Well, you've probably kind of answered my second last one, which is what's your me time when you want to switch off from everything?
The van,
the cooking.
Or I was decoupaging there for a while.
What?
Decoupaging, cutting and pasting. I'll show you. It's paper art. So it used to be done in France.
Is this a fancy word for scrapbooking?
Yeah. No. Oh, it's a bit dusty.
A drum case.
See the.
Oh, okay.
It's paper art. It's all cut out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I've got about 5 different suitcases up in the loft.
That's pretty cool.
And it's just sitting there and cutting and gluing, and it's so good for you.
Well, you're totally switching off, aren't you?
Yeah. So you just sort of bring your level down.
Yeah.
Drop.
My final question is, what's made you laugh recently?
I think what's made me laugh recently is you coming in the door and the dog going fucking ballistic like a little monster. You wouldn't think so.
And he doesn't understand how much I love dogs.
And you were saying something like, you just got
to get to know me, mate.
No. You were saying something.
You're just doing your job.
You're just doing your job. And this little mutt was completely just like
losing his mind.
Going you and nipping at your hands and your boots. And you're going, you're just doing your job.
See, we're mates now.
Pretty funny.
Hey, aren't we? Yeah. See,
my God.
We're mates now, aren't we?
No, Yeah, because you've given him enough food now. No, that's really made me laugh.
Well, Bev Killick, thank you so much for being on the Laughter Clinic podcast. I love you. I love your work. And I wish you all the successes in the world with your upcoming gigs.
And my Depop sales.
And your Depop sales. and yes, I'm so stoked that your acting stuff's taken off. It's so exciting.
I'm very happy.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I love your work. Thank you very much
Cheers,
for hanging
darling.
out today.
Mwah.
Thank you for listening. The information contained in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not intended, nor should it ever replace advice received from a physician or mental health professional. Want more info? Visit thelaughterclinic.com.au. If you enjoyed the episode, please share and subscribe. Thanks again for listening to the Laughter Clinic podcast with your host, Mark McConville.